Hello one, hello all, it's the most to-be star, ghost of them all, Caspa in the flesh, and it's time for a review of Ice Spice Y2K. This is the debut album of viral internet New York rapper Ice Spice, and honestly, I would say that the title here is certainly a reference point, and I would say a smart one too, with her being born in the 2000s and being an artist of the new wave, the new style, the new distribution. However, I think that does kind of work against her in this case, but I'll get into that later. I first heard of her when she hit the scene with her absolutely infectious banger, Feelin' You, Munch, which was certainly an internet sensation and led to a lot of memes, a lot of talk, and a lot of anticipation on my part, which eventually led to an EP. And with this EP, I just found it to be just okay. But it certainly had hits on it, even if I wasn't impressed with most of the hits on the EP. And sure, the production was up to par from a traditional sense, and sure, her flow was on point from a traditional sense, but nothing amazing, nothing ambitious. Her flow wasn't necessarily a versatile one, and to be honest, a lot of the lyrical content was very rinse, wash, repeat. So after the EP, we would eventually get the track, which not only was a single, but also a diss to rapper Lotto, which honestly, I have no idea how that ended, if that beef is still going on, but thank you the shit. Fart. Oh man, Sean, did you fart? Absolutely. Why would you do that? I thought that's what you wanted me to do. I was saying the title of the... You know what? You're gonna sleep outside tonight. But I... Outside! Oh. Sean's an idiot. Anyway, the song Thank You the Shit, Fart, was admittedly at first a single I was unimpressed with, but I would say in the context of this album, it's definitely one of the most standout tracks here. With admittedly the most standout production here, the most standout hook, with these squishy synths over this pumping bass, very Jersey Club, and sure, not the most standout verses. It's very meta, but still a strong point of the album. And certainly another placement in the viral Ice Spice catalog. It was definitely something to keep people talking about her once again, which has led to a continuation of these poop bars, which continues on BBL BELT, saying I'm his poopy but I never smelt. Aside from that bar, I would say the production here is probably the most adventurous I've ever heard Ice Spice on, with these ghostly synthesizers, these ominous bell samples, rumbling bass, and honestly the most otherworldly or atmospheric I've probably ever heard Ice Spice spit to. And it certainly does stand out for the right reasons. But unfortunately there are tracks here that stand out for the wrong reasons. Like Gimme the Light, that has this super weak Sean Paul sample that is so chipmunked and processed, it just sucks out all the life that that banger once had. And the verses are just so ham-fisted. And Plenty of Suns just has these questionable bars. And one thing I find baffling and kind of ironic is how her feature choices, or the label feature choices, are guest spots from rappers who are 3 times or immensely more mid than Ice Spice. Or with her having a Nicki Minaj reference on the first track, it would have made sense to put her on the opener, but given how piss poor of a reputation she's conjured up, especially with her beef with Megan Thee Stallion, probably not a good look, but I would have understood. But yeah, we just get these accompanied with rappers who are immensely worse than her, like Gunna, that couldn't sound more derivative if you tried. And I'm talking about of Young Thug, of course, of, wouldn't you know, his former label mate, former boss of YSL. And admittedly on the first listen, as I'm listening to it, not paying attention to the track list, and the phone is in my pocket, I'm like, wow, this is really a lackluster verse from Young Thug. But lo and behold, it's actually Gunna. And there's also Did It First that has her romantic partner, Central C, who is another artist who has underwhelmed me continuously, where their chemistry is as great as chili and Oreos. Not to mention how ineffective and scant C's verses here, along with an underwhelming verse from Travis Scott, who honestly left me disappointed because not only did he not put his best foot forward, but he didn't even produce the track. Which leads me to another gripe. This album is completely produced by the original cast. But I do have to hand it to Ice Spice. I do have to hand it to Riot because he does branch out here. I will admit that. This may not be super versatile stylistically or in sound, but for the parts where they do branch out, sometimes for the best, or sometimes it's for the worst, like on Popa, which is probably one of the worst tracks Ice Spice has ever dropped, where we're getting one cringe bar after the next, like bitches can't see me for shit like I'm Sia, diamonds on my neck like I'm Anima, I'm not Anima, or super on the nose bars like tell her drop a pin, we ain't bowling, she my twin like the Olsens, got them bitches sick, I got motion. Ugh, God. And why does the production on here sound like a cheap imitation of Lil Wayne and Rick Ross's John? I want to know. And her vocals are trying so hard to be aggressive, but they just come out emotionally flat and kind of goofy, to be honest. And obviously, I don't think this album's great. I don't think this album is trash either, because while I don't find these to be the best well-structured songs, the most conceptual or deepest set of tracks, no. And I remember being asked by a good friend of mine, Scully, shout out to Scully, good rapper, what do I think of Ice Spice? And I responded, I need to hear her album first, because I'm an albums guy, which is how I formulate an opinion on the artist overall. It's really how I decipher my ultimate opinion. And honestly, I think she's a decent rapper, but with a very mid catalog. However, I don't think this album is completely throwaway. I do think there's a use for it. Like, it's certainly something you can play at a party with your friends, something to play in the background. Like, it's not 100% terrible that I would dive to turn it off if someone played it in front of me. But from a critical standpoint, and because I'm an albums guy, and I like to take in what I listen to and contextualize what I listen to, and in the context of what this is going for, I think it's just okay. I think it's just middle of the road. And I just found the final result to be underwhelming and honestly disappointing. This is the first album, and I feel like unfortunately, in terms of labels, we're living in an age, unfortunately, where it's like, okay, where's the hit? Where's the hit? Okay, put this track out, put that track out, get the streams going, and not exactly caring about the artistic quality. I feel that's the type of deal that Ice Spice is under. And I'm not a religious man at all, but I do have faith that maybe one day Ice Spice could come through with an album that is certainly more fun consistently. Hard-hitting production, more memorable hooks, more adventurous production, probably going in like different lanes stylistically, because I don't think all of her bars are weak. And quite frankly, I don't think she has a terrible flow. She just needs to harness the versatility and variation. And for God's sake, a better production team. And I'm just hoping that Ice Spice is not just another flash in the pan for the TikToks and just background music. I think she deserves more than that. But overall, I'm feeling 2 out of 5 black hearts on this album. If you've given this a listen, what did you think of this? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Why? And that's it. This is my opinion, my channel. I am your plug. Give me a sub, hit the video with some love. Caspa, Ice Spice, till we meet again.